Over 400 kg of cocaine found in plane in Berbice. Mother seeks help with baby injured during child's birth. 9 serving and retired officers charged with misconduct in public office. In the region, Colombia mass demonstrations reflect a deep national crisis. And internationally, concerns over slow rate of vaccinations in South Africa. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. 453 kilograms of cocaine was found on an aircraft during an emergency landing at East Berbice Quarantine. Here is more from Esther Sobers.
On Thursday around 3 p.m., ranks of the Guyana Police Force from the Region 6 Police Division, responding quickly to information received, located a foreign registered four-seater Bonanza Beach aircraft that had earlier landed on a sand trail at Oriela Village, Quarantine, Berbice River. A thorough search of the aircraft discovered a total of 453 packages containing 453 kilograms of suspected cocaine, along with 2 global positioning systems, 1 radio set, 3 mobile smartphones, 2 identification cards, and the aircraft registration documents. 2 male foreign nationals, suspected to be Venezuelans who were in the vicinity, were arrested. Other ranks of the police force SWAT team, GDF and KANU were mobilized and dispatched to the scene from Camp Aingano aboard the GDF BEL 412 helicopter. The 2 foreign nationals, the suspected cocaine and the aircraft are in police custody and investigations continue. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. 114 homes in Sand Creek, South Central Rupununi, Region 9, have been affected by recent floods. One house collapsed on Wednesday night. Tushao Eugene Andrews said during a Civil Defense Commission's visit on Thursday, there are reports of livestock dying as a result of the floods, while hand-dug wells have become contaminated. He noted that hundreds of acres of farmlands are underwater, which threatens livelihood of 900 residents in the farming village. The Tushao is requesting bleach, water, and containers to sow cassavas. Director General of the Civil Defense Commission, Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, said the CDC is working closely with the Regional Democratic Council to provide relief. He said the schools in Sand Creek will be used as shelters, but advised against overcrowding. Quote, all the necessary COVID-19 measures must be taken at these shelters, end of quote. Additionally, Lieutenant Colonel Craig warned parents to keep children out of the floodwaters to avoid waterborne diseases. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Public Works is advising the general public to take all necessary precautions during the spring tides period of May 23rd to May 29, 2021. The predicted tide indicates above normal levels for this impending period. The Sea and River Defense Department considers the following areas to be particularly susceptible to the possible floodings as a result of storm surges, which may induce overtopping of sea and river defense structures. Cameroon riverbanks, Sansuki to Sarah and Maria Pleasure to Mirzorg, Good Success, Zealandia and Moore Farm, Wakenham Island, Amsterdam Retreat, Endeavour Blenheim, Cane Garden, Leguan Island, Windsor Forest to the Williams on the west coast of Demerara, Zealot, Parika Market area, Salem to Sparta on the east bank of Essequibo, Water Street in Georgetown, Helena's number 1 and 2 in Mahaika, Manila to Cottage in Maikoni, Crabwood Creek area, Wellington Park, Turogi, Lansdale, Glasgow on the east bank of Berbice. The highest tides are expected to be on Wednesday, May 26th and on Thursday, May 27th during the early morning hours. In addition to the locations mentioned, all persons residing along the banks of the rivers and low-lying coastal areas are advised to take all the necessary precautions against the possibility of flooding. Precautions should also be taken by all mariners, including those operating fishing vessels and larger vessels. The use of beaches and foreshore areas for recreational purposes during this period is not advised. For further information, you can call telephone numbers 225-9868 or 226-1070. Stick around, we've got more news for you after the break.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Alabama Trading has everything you need every day. The best brands at the lowest prices. And right now, you can save much more on a larger range of food products and everyday essentials. Choose from our extensive array of fresh and packaged food items. Plus, there's a huge variety in ladies' handbags and accessories, children toys, backpacks and school bags, bicycles, rugs, outdoor and indoor furniture, cleaning and sanitizing products, and so much more. Alabama Trading. Better products, better prices.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. 9 serving and retired officers who are implicated in a $10 million fraud at the Ghana Police Force have been charged with misconduct in public office and conspiracy to commit fraud. They were arraigned before Principal Magistrate Sheradal Isaacs Marcus on Thursday at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. Those charged were Police Service Commissioner, Chairman Retired Assistant Commissioner Paul Silo, PSC Member and Retired Assistant Commissioner Clinton Conway, Retired Assistant Commissioner Claude Whitaker, Senior Superintendent George Fraser, Retired Senior Superintendent Michael Sutton, Superintendent Mark Gilbert, Serving Assistant Commissioner Royston Andres Jr., Senior Superintendent Marceline Washington, and Assistant Superintendent Marlon Kelman. The defendants were not required to plead to the indictable charges. Sutton was granted $200,000 bail, while the others were each granted $100,000 bail. Their next court appearance is June 3, 2021. They were represented by a team of lawyers including Nigel Hughes, Patrice Henry, Dexter Todd, Dennis Paul, Everton Lamy Singh, Narissa Lander, and Darren Wade. Mr. Hughes said there is no basis on which to level such charges against his client. He said, quote, "These charges, I believe, are not based on facts. All of the persons who have been charged are of impeccable character, and they all have stood on their integrity. We have got people who have served this country for over 30 years without any allegations, without even suggestions of an allegation, never before in their entire life." A mother is seeking the public's help with her baby who was injured during childbirth. Esther Sobers has this heart-wrenching story.
What was supposed to be a normal delivery on March 26, 2021 did not turn out the way for one emotional mother, Gianna Roberts, who delivered her baby at the Georgetown Public Hospital with a fractured shoulder and respiratory failure. She is now contemplating legal action against the hospital.
He came out for me now. He came out for me with a broken arm.
It has been almost 2 months since this unfortunate incident occurred, and Roberts, who is a mother of 4 children, finds it difficult to look after her newborn son, Dylan, with his injuries.
The doctor told me that baby getting discharged. I said, okay, baby getting discharged. I asked the doctor where the cast on his hand. She told me yes. So I turned to her and I said, Doctor, I don't know to look after a baby with a broken arm because this is my first baby and no experience with a broken arm. So then do an x-ray before you get discharged that same day. So I was waiting for the result to see our baby and position. So I asked the nurse, the male nurse, because I said, nurse, please show me that baby x-ray card. So he turned to me and asked me what I really want to see from the x-ray. It ain't got nothing for you to really see. I said, so why? I asked like several times to see the x-ray and they did not show me. So I leave it as that. So it leaves me now to wonder how my child hand break. I would have told me that baby was big and the other position baby, forget him all.
So how has it been now since you have a child with a broken arm? How has it been now he's home, you taking care of him? What are some of the challenges you will face?
The challenge that I'm facing right now is he's crying, gets a steady pain, and he's cried a lot. He's cried a lot. Even though that the cast came off his hand, he still cry a lot. He's cry a lot. Because he's a baby. I don't know what part hurting for him. Sometimes if I jam his hand, his hand is hurt. I gotta be cautious with his hand.
Nonetheless, Roberts is now seeking free legal representation to assist her with this case. If you would like to make contact with Roberts, she can be reached on telephone number 686-0468. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Residents of East Rhymeville, Georgetown are set to benefit from several interventions from the government aimed at improving their quality of life, including jobs for 25 persons who would be employed as community enhancement workers. On Thursday, the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Honorable Nigel Dharamlal, Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Bishop Juan Edgehill, and Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Zulfikar Mustafa, met with the residents. During the meeting, Minister Dharamlal pledged to create more jobs within the community. Meanwhile, Minister Mustafa assured residents that his ministry will also employ persons to conduct drainage and irrigation works in the community. A technical team from the ministry will return to the community to identify the number of drains to be cleaned and the number of persons needed for the project. In addition, Minister Mustafa also pledged to assist the residents with kitchen gardens, citing the importance of the country's agricultural sector. Meanwhile, Minister Edgehill said his ministry will partner with the Agriculture Ministry to execute the drainage project, as there are 18,350 meters of drains that needs to be cleaned. The minister also urged residents to take personal responsibility and ownership of their community. The Public Works Minister also pledged to return to the community for the distribution of hampers in observance of the country's upcoming 55th independence anniversary. Some $1.1 billion had been set aside in the 2021 national budget for the CEW program for the preservation and enhancement of communities. Don't go away. After the break, we have your regional and international news.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Oh gosh, what's this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. Is what I gonna do here?
Hi guys, my name is MISCONDUCT and I'm the senior teacher at the Agriculture After School program. Due to the spread of the coronavirus and the need for social distancing, we have moved our in-class learning activities to online via Skype. On the online side, we will be focusing on spelling, phonics, reading, and the National Grade 6 assessments. For more information, you can inbox us or call us.
Contact us on 675-4379.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Alabama Trading has everything you need every day. The best brands at the lowest prices. And right now, you can save much more on a larger range of food products and everyday essentials. Choose from our extensive array of fresh and packaged food items. Plus, there's a huge variety in ladies' handbags and accessories, children toys, backpacks and school bags, bicycles, rugs, outdoor and indoor furniture, cleaning and sanitizing products, and so much more. Alabama Trading. Better products, better prices.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Colombian politicians have voted to not back healthcare reforms after 4 weeks of violent demonstrations. The protests started last month after President Ivan Duque introduced a tax reform, which he was forced to withdraw after furious demonstrations against it. Al Jazeera's Alessandro Rampietti reports.
As nationwide protests against the government in Colombia enter their 4th week, they show no signs of abating, but they seem to be getting more creative and colorful. Unions, students, indigenous groups and others continue to march and dance for change. The demonstrations were marred by vandalism and violent police response that killed dozens, but people haven't backed down.
We continue demanding guarantees to protest safely and that the government respects Colombia's youth who are demonstrating in the streets because they want a new government model, a new system that will respond to the needs of the poor and the marginalized in Colombia.
The demonstrations, originally called against a now cancelled tax plan, have expanded to include demands like a basic living income and police reform. Protest leaders have begun discussing their demands with the government, but formal negotiations have yet to start, while deadly confrontations with the police continue at night in a number of cities. The government wants roadblocks that have paralyzed the country's economy to be lifted before negotiating. In return, they are promising to make some concessions. A health reform opposed by demonstrators was shelved by Congress on Wednesday.
But for the protesters, these wins and concessions, while important, are poor substitutes for the deep structural changes they're hoping to achieve.
Fabio San Juan and his son joined the rallies for the first time on Wednesday. They say they were compelled by the violent police response to the demonstrations.
The government's not listening to the people who are asking for better health, better education for the young, for our kids. All we see is repression, and this hurts us all. It makes our heart ache.
Some political analysts say the level of repression has helped unify and strengthen the resolve of a diverse group of demonstrators.
And so the protests now have the upper hand on the government. They have the upper hand in terms of the narrative, they have the upper hand in terms of the street, and now the government is trying to find ways it can de-escalate the protest, reduce intensity, and dissuade blockades from continuing. Unfortunately, the government's not presenting a viable dialogue alternative to the protesters.
A complex tangle to unravel for a Colombian president that appears to be increasingly isolated and weak as demonstrators vow to carry on. Alessandro Ampietti, Al Jazeera, Bogotá.
And internationally, South Africa has begun the second phase of its vaccination program, focusing on people over the age of 60. But the government has been criticized for a slow rollout. Al Jazeera's Famida Miller has more.
At this vaccination site in Pietermaritzburg, Rupa now lines up with hundreds of people for their first of 2 jabs. This is the second phase of South Africa's vaccination program, and the government plans to vaccinate 5 million elderly people by the end of June.
I've just arrived in the queue, which was very, very fast, very efficiently done, and very nicely done. They took care of all the over 60s, and there hasn't been any old person sitting around for a long time.
So far, more than 470,000 health workers have received a jab through a trial program. Almost 500,000 still need to be vaccinated. The government says it wants to be vaccinating 250,000 people a day by September. But there are concerns the program is and will be slower than expected.
But between now and the end of June, we should have received close to 6 million vaccines. We're trying to get more than that, but because of some of the delays, we're actually getting our deliveries rescheduled for later on in the year. So we are hoping that on this second phase, we're looking at 16 million people to be vaccinated.
The government says a shortage in supply may delay second doses of Pfizer vaccine by up to 3 months. And some are worried that virus variants first identified in the UK and India will impact South Africa. Several cases of both have been identified here. The government has for months warned people a third wave is expected, and it's now been confirmed in 2 provinces. South Africa is also entering winter when more people, especially the vulnerable, will become ill. The government says it's focusing on vaccinating the elderly. And it's aiming to vaccinate all South Africans by March next year. That's after saying it will meet its deadline this year. For many watching and waiting for their jab, the shifting target is worrying. Famida Miller, Al Jazeera, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa.
And finally, China is showcasing its advances in the field of artificial intelligence at an annual tech theme forum. The event comes just months after the United States National Security Commission said that China is on track to overtake the US as the world's AI superpower. Al Jazeera's Katrina Yu reports.
The latest in Chinese artificial intelligence, or AI, is on display here in Tianjin. From transport and robotics to data collection and cloud computing, it's the kind of progress that has the current technology frontrunner, the US, worried.
When it comes to big data, cloud computing, and AI, China still lags behind the US. But in certain areas, China is already the world leader.
Telecommunications giant Huawei has been hit by 3 rounds of US sanctions. Company earnings have fallen for the 2nd year in a row. Beijing says the US feels threatened by Chinese progress. Washington says Huawei poses a national security threat. More than 100 Chinese entities have been placed on a US trade blacklist, but the restrictions have not stopped China's development from accelerating. The government has invested billions of dollars in research and development in an effort to wean itself off critical US chip technology. And the speed of China's AI progress is raising concerns, especially when it comes to potential military applications.
China is also developing AI in the military area in order to leapfrog over the US, which has a lot more capacity in terms of military might.
China's use of AI to launch cyber attacks and increase surveillance is also being closely watched. Several governments say AI is being used to perpetuate human rights abuses and even genocide against Uyghurs in Xinjiang. The US Senate is debating legislation aimed at ensuring it stays ahead of China. The Endless Frontier Act could see $100 billion invested over the next 5 years into AI and related industries. Chinese officials have criticized the bill.
The bill distorts the facts and plays up the China threat theory. It is fraught with outdated Cold War mentality and zero-sum thinking.
Beijing says its technology will only be used for peaceful means. It's aiming to become the global leader in AI by 2030.
At this forum, most of the AI technology on display is about addressing everyday problems. How can we improve healthcare? Or how can we make labor-intensive industries less labor-intensive? Or how can we make roads safer, for example, with the use of driverless technology?
Regardless of which country wins the race for tech supremacy, analysts say international rules governing the use of AI are needed for the protection and safety of all. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Tianjin, China.
And that is all for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, stay safe and take care.